ready to do this? Hello, I'm Kim Rooster Rossiter, and with my co-host, Miss Kandell Jade and her pigtails, this is Spotlight Saturday, episode 34. This is super fun because Kendall came all the way from Rushville, Indiana, where her mom is becoming our ambassador in training this weekend to bring Ainsley's Angels there so Kendall can run all the time. It's super excited, and I am too. And check out the van the digs are on. Mr. Rooster runs for me. This is insane. I am super excited, and you are too, aren't you? What are we going to do with this episode, Miss Co-Host? What do you recommend? Well, how about some questions? Yes, I'm shaking too. It's super awesome. This van's awesome, by the way. We're going to take it down to Virginia Beach Oceanfront. Yeah, where she's going to become a half marathoner. Up here, this sticker says 5K. We're going to add another one that says 13.1. Can we do that? Can we do that this weekend? Yes, I love it too. Hey, Briley, I think we got some super cool questions. Kendall, you think we should let Briley flip us to the first question? Yeah, me too. Briley, what's the first question?
Run Jody asks, as a parent, what types of things can I send with my angel rider during a race?
It really depends on the rider and their needs, and it also depends on the duration of the race and also the weather. You have to keep all of these things in mind. So, for instance,
when we were preparing for the Sunset 5K this past summer in Louisiana, we pumped up Kendall with extra hydration because she's fed with a G-tube, so she couldn't drink water during the race. And we also thought ahead and brought like cooling cloths that you get wet and they stay cool for long periods of time. Sunglasses, if it's cold out.
we used to use blankets for Ainsley, and also she ran a couple of really cold races, so we bought the little hand warmers and put them in her gloves or in her leggings to add extra warmth. Also, it's really important that you communicate with your angel runner and let them know about any special needs that your child has, so that they'll know if the child has a seizure, what to do. But any kind of snacks or drinks, and then always keep the weather in mind. Anything else, Kristy?
Not that I can think of.
I think that's it.
I think that was super cool. Not only did we get Lori, but we got Kristy too in the frame together. I mean, how cool is that? Angel Riders moms answering the key questions. I love it. Good job, ladies. Hey, one more question. Oh, you liked it too? I liked it too. That was awesome. Yo, you think mom did a good job? Did she pass the Kandell Jade test? She did. She passed the Kandell Jade test? Oh, she kind of did? Dude, I'm telling you, I have not had a better time than when I get a chance to co-host this stuff with Kandell Jade, right? Is it awesome or what? I don't know what this means, but I think it means that I'm doing a good job. Is that what it means? Oh, she said that her dental plan's better than my dental plan. I don't know. Is that what it was? I can't keep track. I just got kids running everywhere. We're having fun. Hey, let's flip to the second question. This is going to be fun. Roll the question, Briley.
Kimberly wants to know, how can you talk to race organizers about allowing special needs chairs to be pushed in a race?
Hey, I absolutely love that question. I figured there was no better way to answer this than to bring Dan in. If y'all don't know Dan, I mean, I could give you his bio, but hey, Dan Cruz of RocknRoll. I'll let him tell you who he is in a minute. But before we get into answering this, Dan, I got to say, man, it's just truly an honor to have you here in our Finish Line store. And and Briley, zoom up here. Let's give some history here.
This is a shrine.
Yeah, this right here at the top, this is when Ainsley first ran her first half marathon. The RocknRoll Virginia Beach with Team Hoyt Virginia Beach in 2010. And you can come back down to me now. And I tell you, it was Dan that was there rocking and rolling and doing all the PR things and great stuff. But I'm going to let Dan introduce himself, I promise. But this would have been Ainsley's 7th RocknRoll half. And of course, as you learned, Kandell Jade's going to go ahead and roll in Ainsley's chair, and she's going to become a half marathoner. But having Dan here is great because we can answer that question in great detail. But Dan, thanks again, brother, for being here.
Rooster, thanks for having me. This has been a treat. We've obviously been going back and forth, and you guys have been a big part of our Virginia Beach event with the folks at Team Hoyt for many years. And to be here in the shrine with all this gear, all this swag, this is truly special. cheers to a great weekend.
Yeah, brother. I look forward to toasting a beer with you here in just a minute. But first, let's get to business. So the question's got something to do with how do you talk to race organizers about inclusion, really?
Well, race organizers of all different scales, whether it's a 5K for your community center or your church, or a RocknRoll Marathon, which is a world-class event with police and road closures and all those different natures. A race of any size has a lot of moving parts. The most important thing when making a special request or trying to work with a race director is early and advanced communication.
Love that.
Most organizers, especially us with the RocknRoll Marathon Series, we're about inclusion. We're about getting as many people out there on the streets, participating, being a part of this community that you and I know so well as possible. And so by reaching out to that race director, reaching out to that operations crew, letting them know, hey, these are the special exceptions that we'd like to make. These are the circumstances. This is our cause. And this is ultimately the story. Because race organizers are always looking for good stories, good publicity, right? We want to do good in the community. We don't want to be looked at as a nuisance. Hey, we're just shutting down your road. Now you can't get to church on Sunday because, the half marathon was taking place. And so, certain events, we have rules. No wheelchairs allowed. No, because of safety. And usually it all boils back down to safety. But having that communication in advance, touching base with the race director, the operations crew, there might be an early start that can be arranged, where, like we do in Virginia Beach, where all of our push teams start 5 minutes ahead of time, and I have some very specific instructions to stay to the right-hand side of the road while the vehicles are coming through. Or maybe it's a delayed start where you kind of start in the last corral and you're just kind of walking. But most race organizers with some communication will be able to work to ensure safety of the participants, the regular participants, and any strollers or special push vehicles or teams, because we want to have as many people involved in these events as possible.
Absolutely, man. And RocknRoll does an amazing job. In fact, they're the pioneers of inclusion athletics when it comes to big races across the United States. Of course, Boston years ago. But when Dick and Rick Hoyt approached RocknRoll about being included here in 2006, open arms, and since then the relationship between RocknRoll and inclusion running has been amazing.
This is the largest or second largest Team Hoyt push team event in the entire nation, not just RocknRoll.
Yeah.
Obviously Boston, who can argue with Boston? Dick Hoyt is such a legend, everything that he does with his son. But no, Rooster, thank you for having us. And working with race organizers is easy to do, but it's all about early communication. Showing up at the expo and trying to make a special request during the weekend, not the best time.
Yeah, exactly.
Reaching out 2 months in advance, they'll definitely work with you.
This is absolutely true. Trey White, the president of Team Hoyt Virginia Beach, taught me that a long time ago when he introduced me to all the key players and competitors. So to Trey, I appreciate that. And Dan, thanks again, brother.
Hey, thank you for being there. We're going to have a moment of silence for Ainsley at the start line. We know it's been a tough year, but everything that you're doing across the country, up and down the Mid-Atlantic region, we appreciate it. We see it out in San Diego, where we're based. That's where the RocknRoll Marathon started, and we'll be celebrating 20 years of that event next year, 1998 to 2017. So excited for Virginia Beach, and hopefully we can stay dry.
Let's do it, bro. Thanks, y'all.
Cheers.
Let's flip it back over. We got some more stuff to follow. You want to roll? You want to be in it? Come here, Declan. Declan, come here, dude. It's a wrap. Are we recording? We're recording? Well, hey, Kandell Jade, guess what? I think that was one of our coolest episodes. Why? Because co-host Kandell Jade's back. Declan's all over the place. Maybe y'all saw him, maybe y'all didn't. I'm super excited to have Dan join us from RocknRoll. We're really excited about that. And of course, anytime you can have Kristy and Lori doing an answer to a question together, everybody's winning. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. So hey, I hope you enjoyed the episode. We're gonna get ready because we got a RocknRoll half marathon tomorrow, and we're gonna see you all soon. Hey, Snapchat and Instagram stories, we're gonna put it all over it. Have a good rest of your Saturday.
A young angel born with wings. She stays strong.
People are still here. They're still here. They're still. Hey, if you want to see more Kandell Jade, maybe you missed her. What was it? Episode 27. She was a co-host. This ain't her first rodeo. Hope y'all enjoyed the episode. If you haven't subscribed, you gotta subscribe now. Tell them. Say, subscribe. Later, y'all.